Good morning, boys and girls, and this video will be for your science lesson 128 and 129. We will be reviewing for a test on 130. So your next class, you will have a test. Let's do a review, and we will start off with our birds. Okay, say it with me or faster than I. Brown pelican, brown thrasher, chicken, roadrunner, California quail, nene, pheasant, ptarmigan. Okay, those will be tested. Make sure that you know them by heart, okay? The next thing we can do is go over a little bit about the days of creation. That will be tested as well. Let's talk about the days of creation. On day 1, you have light. On day 2, you have the firmament. On day 3, you have the dry land. On day 4, you have the sun, moon, and stars. On day 5, you have the birds and the fish, or the sea animals. And then on day 6, you have the land animals and man. So don't forget your days of creation. Boys and girls, you should have had some homework on the last lesson. So take that out and let's go over the answers. Make sure you got them all right. You had page 216, letters B and D. Number 1 was to define the term absorb. I hope you wrote to soak up. Number 2, astronomy, the study of the stars and the planets. Number 3, constellation, a picture made by stars. Number 4, galaxy, a large group of stars. 5 was gravity, the force that holds the planets in orbit. Number 6 was Milky Way, our galaxy containing our solar system and the stars which are visible by a telescope. Number 7, the word was orbit. You should have written the pathway that the planet follows around the sun. Reflect, number 8, to bounce back. Number 9, solar system, the sun and the 8 planets with their satellites. And number 10, zodiac, which is the 12 constellations that encircle the earth. We call this the Mazzaroth in the Bible. Okay, so that's letter B. You also had letter D. Number 1, you were supposed to write the term that reflects this clue. Reflects light from the sun. Do you remember what reflects light from the sun? The moon, that's correct. Closest star to the earth? The big star? The sun, very good. How about the holes on the surface of the moon? What do we call those? Craters. Nice job. The constellation in which the pointer stars are located. Remember those 2 pointer stars on the side we just talked about? Those are called the Big Dipper. And the scientists who study the planets and the stars, we call them astronomers. Very good. Boys and girls, let's go over our solar system chart. Do you remember our acronym? My very eager mother just served us nachos. Again, my very eager mother just served us nachos. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Remember, we're starting at the sun and going further and further away from the sun. So the closest planet to the sun would be Mercury, and the furthest planet from the sun would be Neptune. Very good. These are some of the constellations that we've talked about. We started with the Big Dipper. If you remember, we said that looks like a big ladle or spoon that you scoop up soup with. We pointed out that the 2 stars on the right side are considered the pointers, and the Little Dipper on your right hand side is the same shape but smaller And we mentioned that those same pointers are on the other side. If you notice the other side. And on the bottom you see the Great Bear. And on the bottom right you will see Leo the Lion. Make sure that you can recognize these and pick them out. A few more of the constellations we went over. The Boots, the herdsman. We said that we remembered he had a triangle hat. Okay, he's also blowing a horn out the top, and he is bending his knees. So make sure you can pick that one out. We talked about Orion, that he is shooting an arrow or holding a shield. We said that he had a sword on the bottom. And the one on the left hand side on the bottom is Gemini, the twins. We didn't talk about that, but you should be able to find that in your book. It will not be tested, but that's another one that we will be able to see in the sky. Our last chart here is of the phases of the moon. It says that God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Genesis 1:16. And that lesser light would be the moon. We talked about the phases of the moon just a little bit. We did talk a little bit about the full moon and the new moon. You will need to be able to pick out those pictures as well and label them. So you're going from new moon to crescent. You have the first quarter moon, the gibbous moon, the full moon, and then it goes back around the other way. Gibbous, third quarter, crescent, and new moon.